So for the next 2 weeks, we will be cooking out of here. This recipe today will be made out of here. There's even a canning area of this. And I may be doing that as well. Oh yeah, my name is LouAnn and welcome to my kitchen. The coffee is a brewing and you know there's some sweet iced tea in that icebox. Well, what am I making for you today? Let's turn the camera around. Let me show you. Well, I am going to make the potato soup in here, but I'm doing it my own way. I thought it needed some bacon in it. And I'm not using fresh potatoes. I'm using canned. So, and I'm going to fry this bacon up a little bit. I'm going to use this grease as well, but I want to get this bacon fried up before we put our other ingredients in here. Let this the bacon get brown a little bit. Then I'm going to add 1 chopped onion. I've added the onion to this, so let this get to brown a little bit. Sorry you can't see that with the steam. Now that our onions are nice and brown and the bacon's brown, I'm going to add a tablespoon of flour. Get this all stirred in. Got to keep it stirring until we get it thick. Then we're going to add our potatoes. I'm using 2 pints of potatoes that I had canned. I drained juice off of one of them. The other one I didn't. So I'm going to empty those jars. Let that cook a little bit. Get that all nice and yummied up before we add a quart of milk. Now we stir in 1 quart of milk. And then we stir this until it is heated up, until it's nice and thick. And then this will be our potato soup tonight, hearty potato soup. So now we just got to cook this and stir it until it gets thick and smooth. And try to get all those bacon goodies that's underneath on the bottom of the pan as well. I added a tablespoon of parsley to this as well. So now we stir it until this gets thick and heat it up until it gets thick. And then supper be on. If you was using fresh potatoes, I may add that you would be boiling them in a separate saucepan, about 6 of them. So I'm guessing about 6, but these were very large potatoes that I canned, which I do believe you will see that. I do believe I did a video on it for March Canning Madness. So that is what we're doing here. We're just waiting for this to get thick, and then we will have some yummy hearty potato soup for supper. So this next recipe out of this book, which I will show you the photo somewhere in this, you will just need thawed chopped spinach, a frozen container of it, about a 10 ounce package of ranch seasoning, and a 16 ounce container of sour cream, and that's pretty much it. In the cookbook, it does say using rye bread. I'm just going to use this as a dip because it is Super Bowl Sunday, y'all. So, at least when I'm filming it. So, I'm going to put this all together and I'll show you what it looks like after it's done and show you how to put it together. I forgot to add one ingredient. We were supposed to get sour cream with chives, which I cannot find that in my area. So I'm just going to add what I think, how many chives should be in the sour cream. And that's what we're going to add. So let's put this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the sour cream and put the chives in. Part of Susan at Hillbilly Chicken Ranch Frugal Living is I'm going to add that to that. You could save, hold on. You could save your little sour cream bowls and use it for something else. You can use it as a planter, use it as a water. There's some, or just a little bit of, you could put the dip back in there if there's, you know, a small amount of dip. Or anything like that. That is part of my frugal living. I grew up with it like that. So doing that, my mama saved all kinds of bowls. The Cool Whip bowls and all that. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the chives here. That's not enough for my liking. So I'm going to add a little bit more. Now I think that should be enough of chives. I'm going to finish stirring this in, and then I'll be right back when we add our other ingredients. So before I add my chopped spinach, thawed chopped spinach, uncooked, I'm going to go ahead and add my ranch dressing mix to the sour cream and get it stirred in real quick before I add my spinach. Now I'm going to add my spinach, and I'm going to go ahead and add the biggest part of the whole container of it because it is pretty much thawed. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to mix it all together in this bowl before I put it in my serving container, which is a must for all of you out there, is to get a serving container. So this next recipe is chicken chickamungas. I do have some frozen onions. We are supposed to saute them with a teaspoon of cumin and some garlic powder. I'm using dried garlic. That is what I'm doing. And supposed to have 2 large tomatoes. I'm not doing the tomatoes. Well, I'm doing the tomatoes, but I'm using a can of fire roasted tomatoes because that's what I have on hand. So now we need to cook this until the onions are soft. And then I will show you the next step after this gets done. Now I'm going to simmer this for a little bit until some of this liquid goes away. I know it says to drain it, but since I'm using canned tomatoes, I think this needs to be simmered to get some of this liquid out before we add the next 2 ingredients. According to this book, this chicken filling could be used with burritos or any kind of Mexican food that you could think of, tamales, anything like that nature. So I'm in the process of frying these. I'm going to go ahead and add the other 2 ingredients. Let this simmer while I'm working on another recipe. You're going to need 1 can of diced jalapeno chilies and some cut up chicken, y'all. And I'm using home canned cut up chicken, and I just used the juice and all to give more flavor. So now I'm going to kind of cut this up a little bit and let this simmer down on before we go to the next step. Now we take 2 heaping tablespoons of our chicken mixture, of course draining it since I didn't drain it. Then we're going to put a heaping tablespoon of cheese on top of this. So I'm heating up some oil in a pan, and then I am going to be putting these chicken chickamungas. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. And we're going to put it folded side down, and we're going to fry them. I'm going to make 1 more to create right here. In the process of frying these, so I guess after they get brown on the edges, we're going to flip them over, and then supper will be done. Mexican dinner.